Straight ahead on 12 News, a tour inside the brand new Brooklyn Park Library. See what sets this library apart from others. Plus, Robbinsdale residents team up with police to catch neighborhood thieves. But first, a local congressman takes part in an unprecedented move, but will it have an impact? 12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. After more than 25 hours, Representative Keith Ellison and other Democrats in Congress ended their unprecedented sit-in on the floor of the House of Representatives.
Democratic lawmakers staged the sit-in as an attempt to put pressure on Republicans over gun control legislation. But the GOP called it nothing more than a publicity stunt. Delane Cleveland joins us now with more. Delane?
Mike and Alex, the Democrats wanted to force votes on two bills. One that would ban people on the terrorism watch list from buying guns, and another that would expand background checks on firearm purchases. It was a standoff that literally lasted all night.
If you do not like background checks, come and vote no and explain it to your constituents. Right. If you do not like no fly, no buy, come down here and take your vote and you explain to your constituents why you think somebody who's suspected of terrorism ought to have a gun.
Minnesota Congressman Keith Ellison joined a slew of his Democratic colleagues in the House chamber for a sit-in that began Wednesday morning. The protest eventually ended Thursday afternoon without Democrats getting the vote they hoped for. But political experts say the sit-ins has been an effective method in raising the visibility of the issue and could help set up a battle for the November elections.
The Democrats are picking up some real headwind here in getting press coverage and speaking to voters about how they would do things differently. So they're kind of setting an issue up for the election and finding a way to put pressure on Republicans, some of whom are going to be running in moderate or swing districts. This could become an issue.
Larry Jacobs did, however, stress that by the time election season rolls around, gun control probably won't be the top issue on the agenda. Meanwhile, Republican House Speaker Paul Ryan criticized the sit-in, calling it a publicity stunt and accusing the Democrats of engaging in a fundraising scheme. Mike?
All right, Delane, thanks. Alert neighbors over the course of 2 nights this week helped Robbinsdale police make a series of arrests.
On both nights, we had calls from residents saying that there were people out in the neighborhoods checking door handles. And we were able to catch up with 1 individual on Monday night and 3 individuals on Tuesday night.
The police arrested 4 suspects for theft from vehicles this week in neighborhoods near Crystal Lake and Shoreline Drive, as well as the 26th and Xerxes area near Theodore Worth Parkway. Every single theft that occurred was from an unlocked vehicle.
There's more people walking around at night, but if we lock those doors, close our garages, and eliminate the opportunity, they move on. One of them even said that if he came to a locked door, he moved on because he wasn't going to make noise.
All 4 of the suspects have been charged. It's been 10 years and $23.5 million in the making, but the new Brooklyn Park Library is finally ready to open its doors to the public.
12 News reporter Carissa Wyant got a sneak peek of the new facility before the grand opening ribbon is cut tonight, Thursday evening.
We got sliding doors. If they want to do a poetry slam or other programming here, it gets loud in here, we can close the doors.
Hennepin County Commissioner Mike Opat follows a patron's path on a tour of the new Brooklyn Park Library.
This is called a one-button studio, and you see the button there.
The new space is about twice as large as the previous library.
I hope this place is busy all the time. All kinds of things are possible here, so it really is fantastic.
And features parking for 190 cars, an artistically designed bike rack with parking for 24 bikes, and a bike repair stand with pumps.
I think the future is very bright for this library because it's going to be right on the LRT line that's going to go right outside the front door.
The facility also has a STEM, or science, technology, math, and engineering theme, which can be found both outdoors, where a series of skylights aim to teach patrons about the environment.
There's a series of spots. You can track the sun in various times of year.
And indoors, where maps of the globe and large, colorful murals celebrate Brooklyn Park's diversity.
The theme is based on images from the community. So you'll see some farm imagery, you see some wood grain here, you see tile work, there's another windmill.
Technology is found prominently throughout the building, whether it's meeting spaces, computer workstations, or audio-visual equipment.
Robust Wi-Fi so that people can bring in their own laptops and devices.
Perhaps what sets this library apart the most is this play area designed with help from the Minnesota Children's Museum.
Some things that just will get, hopefully, kids mostly just thinking about the world around them.
And a teen-focused tech center complete with a recording studio.
We really tried to look at what people were asking for. That's why the tech center has the recording studio. That was identified as an interest of teens, was music and music production.
Well, you can still check out traditional forms of media at the library here. Staff is hoping that this new 21st century library will evolve to meet the demands of a growing population. Reporting in Brooklyn Park, Carissa Wyant, 12 News.
The library will host grand opening events on Saturday, too, from 10 to 3 p.m., and that includes geocaching with the Three Rivers Park District, bookmaking with the Minnesota Center for Book Arts, and meeting live animals from the Eastman Nature Center.
Brooklyn Center has hired a new fire chief. Jeremy Hulke will take over the role as of July 18th. He has served as a Brooklyn Center firefighter for more than 18 years. Hulke currently works as a Minneapolis police officer, earning a Medal of Valor for his actions taken at the 35W bridge collapse. Hulke replaces Lee Gatlin, who retired.
A new challenge is coming in 1 week for a local principal. Leona Durden will leave her role as principal of Northport Elementary School. On July 1st, she will lead the Robbinsdale School District in serving as a coach for principals. After 16 years in various principal jobs, Durden calls her new role a dream job and a next step. And in case you're wondering, last month, this is video from last month, First Lady Michelle Obama recognized Durden and staff members for their work in improving test scores at Northport.
One incumbent will not be running for re-election this fall in Plymouth. Councilmember Marge Beard has decided not to run for re-election. Beard represents Ward 3, which serves southeast Plymouth. In giving her reason for not running, Beard says she anticipates increased time demands on her schedule due to work and family, and that'll prevent her from doing the job at the level she feels is required.
I'm sharing this information about 2 months before filing opens because I want our residents to have time to consider this service opportunity. I will make myself available to anyone who would like to ask questions about the role, responsibilities, and the commitment required.
Beard will finish the remaining months of her term, which ends December 31st. Filing for Plymouth City Council begins in August. There are 2 other council seats up for re-election in November, and those seats are held by Judy Johnson and Jim Willis. Coming up, a Brooklyn Center gardener with a trick or two to keep away pesky rabbits.
And then a little bit later in sports, local American Legion baseball teams get into the swing of their seasons.
But first, it is warming up. Temperatures in the mid-80s on Friday.
A Brooklyn Center resident is using recycled and repurposed materials to make a pretty remarkable garden.
12 News reporter Sonia Goins goes in the garden now to show us how it's done.
It's important in this neighborhood to make your house look nice.
David Burchard's Brooklyn Center front yard is very appealing. Hostas, ferns, and a variety of colorful lilies make a statement.
It's a happy garden.
He says the key is to use Epsom salt.
It makes it nice and green and fresh looking.
If you think his front yard is something, check out the back. David uses free wood chips from the city to create a walk path.
As long as you know how to go get them and bring them back to your house, they're all for free.
And he found a unique planter to grow herbs.
This old washing machine, we put all our herbs in.
David repurposed old wood to make raised beds, which he hopes keeps the rabbits away.
We raised the lettuce beds, and I raised the peas and the beans because they like to munch on those too.
The avid gardener used recycled materials to tackle black walnut trees, which can be a problem for fruits and vegetables.
I went on Craigslist and I got all these buckets. and I just fill them up with dirt and put my tomato plants in there. So that keeps them away from all the poisonous things from the black walnuts.
And David used an old fence to make potato bins to keep the plants away from black walnuts.
And then you can take off a panel and dig out your potatoes and put it back on, and then they'll just keep growing.
David is pretty handy. He and his partner built a backyard pergola, and there's also a koi pond. David says this is the perfect place to come and relax.
It's just enjoyable, it's therapeutic, and it makes things look pretty.
In Brooklyn Center, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
David spends about an hour a day in the garden. He also has a compost bin to help fertilize his plants. Just looking at it is relaxing.
That's right.
I'm sure it's a lot of work, though, right? But coming up, has your golf game got you down? We'll show you something new at Earle Brown Days that may be the perfect fit.
But first, we are dropping a line with Terry Tuma for his weekly fishing tip. John Jacobson has that and much more coming up next in sports.
Well, got to be fun for a lot of the best baseball players probably in the state. For high school players in the state, they played each other and now they're on the same team.
On the same team, a lot of them. Yeah, it's a fun weekend. They have baseball this weekend and also football too. A lot of times they're on different weekends. This year they happen to fall on the same weekend. Yeah, it is a big week for all-star competitions as recently graduated athletes get their last high school games in. The Play Ball Minnesota All-Star Baseball Series is expanded from 4 teams to 6. That tournament runs Friday and Saturday in Chaska and Chanhassen. Players from our area are on the Metro North and Metro West squads. They each play 2 games at Chanhassen Friday. There are also 3 games at Chaska that day, and then Saturday matchups are determined by Friday's results. The Metro North team includes Isaac Collins and Brett Schultz from Maple Grove, Riley Johnson and Derek Smith of Champlin Park, Dan Hansen from Park Center, Josh Thorpe from Armstrong, and Alex Babacek from Tutino Grace. The Metro West squad includes Steve Fitzsimmons from Cooper, Tom Scoro of Wayzata, John Cook from Hopkins, and Riley Simonetti for Benilde. They will hear from local All-Stars Friday at 4 here on 12 News. The Minnesota Football Coaches Association Tackle Cancer All-Star Game is Saturday at 1 o'clock in St. Cloud. You can watch that game on our website, 12.tv, through our live stream link. Osseo's Demario Armstrong and Prince Crew are on the North team, along with Chance Bowen of Armstrong and Lewis Kidd of Tutino Grace. 2 Hopkins players are also on the South All-Star team. Summer is officially here, and the American Legion baseball season is well underway. Brooklyn Park hosting Lino Lakes in a North Hennepin League game. Top of the first inning of this game, Brian Pearson singles past third base. Dylan Adams scores, and it's 1-0 Lino Lakes. Next up, Kyle Nordby drives one to the gap in right center field. Pearson hustles all the way around from first base to score, and it's 2-0. Later in the inning, Blake Haugen at the plate, and he drops a single into left field. Jackson Lelou comes in to score. Lino Lakes with 7 runs on the board in the first inning. Top of the second, Blake Molitor. It's a good swing on the ball here and sends it between the center and right fielders for a hit. Another run scores to make it a 9-0 game. Not a lot of highlights for the post 6:30 Pirates on this one. Dan Hansen here, though, hitting one down the line and left in the second inning. He'll get to second base with a double. Brooklyn Park later that inning scores their only run of the game, but it's Lino Lakes winning it. 11-1 in 5 innings is the final. There are a number of ways to catch walleyes using either live bait or artificial lures. Terry Tuma explains one method that's worked for him in this week's Channel 12 fishing tip.
Lead core and crankbaits for walleyes are becoming extremely popular, but along with that, very, very productive. And we can use it on any body of water. It's not just for these big bodies of water, on small lakes, the one like what we're on. Again, extremely productive. But here too, question that been asked is, how do we rig for a crankbait and lead core fishing? Well, first of all, and they're very inexpensive, I would strongly suggest a line counter reel. And the reason being, with a line counter reel, you know exactly how much line that you had out when you caught that last fish. So you want to duplicate that. So if you got 110 feet out, you want to go with another 110 feet again. And then, generally speaking, with lead core usage, I'll use either 15 to 18 pound test, I do use suffix line. It doesn't kink as much, it's a lot smoother. And then to that line, after you spool it on the reel, and you can use a mono backing, when you spool it on the reel, then I use a barrel swivel, a small barrel swivel, and attach to that barrel swivel just a 10 pound test line, mono line, and then about 8 to 10 to 12 feet, whatever you are going to use on that specific day, that's going to produce those fish for you. You want to use monoline because of that stretch. And then as far as the rod goes, then that rod should be a longer rod. I usually use right around an 8.4, something in that area, with a soft tip to absorb the shock of that walleye when it hits. And then too, when you're cranking in that walleye, just crank slow and steady. Do not stop. If you stop, it's going to come off. Give it a try. You'll be very, very pleased with the productivity of lead core and crankbaits for walleyes.
Thanks, Terry. That's it for sports today.
All right, thanks, John. Still ahead, playing golf without the fear of missing the ball.
Plus, Earle Brown Days kicks off tonight. Here's something you may not know about the festival and Earle Brown.
Tradition rolls through Brooklyn Center tonight, Thursday evening. The 34th annual Earle Brown Days Parade starts at 6:30 and runs along DuPont Avenue between 59th and 69th Avenues. Former Fire Chief Lee Gatland is the Grand Marshal, and many of the festival events are Saturday at Centennial Park. It all wraps up with fireworks on Saturday night. And Mike and I will be in the parade tonight, and if you see us, we are handing out fans that you could win you a prize and get you on TV.
Put me on TV, right? Here's how it works. You take a selfie of your family or group with the fan in the photo, email it to news@12.tv with the word parade. The selfie may be featured during the parade on TV, and then every participant will be in a drawing for a prize package worth more than $50. We'll show the winning selfies on 12 News right here on Friday. We hope to see you out there.
Absolutely.
Well, finally, something new at Earle Brown Days is especially for golfers or those who would like to golf but never have before.
We are using a traditional golf ball, and it fits right into the fling stick itself and sits right in there.
It is called Fling Golf, which is a kind of a combination of lacrosse and golf. A stick helps you throw a golf ball and then serves as a putter when you get it on the green. Even if you're not a traditional golfer, it could help you get out on the course.
The most embarrassing thing in regular golf is swinging and missing. Well, you're never going to swing and miss with a fling stick because you're throwing the ball. You may throw it right in front of you, but after a couple holes, you are certified pro, ready to go.
Centerbrook Golf Course adopted the game last summer. You can try it out at Earle Brown Days for free. There will be demonstrations on the softball field in Brooklyn Center's Centennial Park, and that starts noon on Saturday. That does it for us. Thanks for joining us.
See you back here again Friday, beginning at 4.